Hey guys, what's up? This is Recreational 420, and today I want to give you guys something to think about. So, as we continue to fight to legalize recreational cannabis throughout the state, we need to remember that the people who are opposed to cannabis, or let me say it this way, the way to get people on your side in any sort of like, especially such an emotional thing like this, where it's like people on both sides are super emotional. The way you get people on your side isn't through manipulation or emotional manipulation and through like using like really crazy intense like visual imagery, like sick kids and stuff like that. The way you do it is just by showing your point. You don't argue. The point of a conversation with somebody who doesn't consume cannabis shouldn't come from like, it shouldn't come from anger. You should aim to understand that person, and then as you understand them, figure out how within that understanding of their life you can kind of say, okay, well, taking your life, I can show you how you can either enhance it or how cannabis has absolutely nothing. It's going to impact nothing in your life, in your own personal daily life. Because if you're not a user, then it doesn't matter. It's like gay marriage. There's a bunch of people who are against it because of religious beliefs and a bunch of other different reasons, whatever they may be. But at the end of the day, what two people do in their house doesn't physically affect your life, doesn't actually affect your life, doesn't two gay people like or two people of the same sex getting married isn't going to all of a sudden put you out of work. It isn't all of a sudden gonna make your kid a drug addict. It isn't going to all of a sudden like do anything. And the same thing with cannabis legalization. Just because you don't necessarily like it doesn't mean that nobody should have it. Nobody has the right to do it, and that's what you have to fight. We have to fight for our right. That's all it is. You just have to fight for your right. I just want to play that song so bad. But no, that's what it is. You have to fight for your right the same way that they're fighting for theirs. And the best way, like I said, it's not to beat them down with your thoughts and your ideas and your way. It's about understanding them and then giving them something substantive that like as an example and an explanation, and just show them how within their life, like, if they do decide to like ingest, how it could change, and if they don't, how it's not going to affect them at all. And that's basically it. I would hate, and I really do, I hate to see people fighting and arguing and like getting into like huge like matches against people who are pro or against, because it always goes down this really dark and narrow hallway that like you can't come back from. So, and the other thing, especially if you're doing it online, everybody can read it. Everybody can read it, and everybody can see what you're doing and saying and how you're acting. And if you're going and being this crazy aggressive person online over pot, it doesn't make it look good. And also, if you're attacking somebody who's against it, all you're doing is feeding the fuel for all those people who agree with them to come and then attack you, and then those people then attack them, and your people and it just grows and grows and grows, and nothing ever gets done. So the biggest thing we can do is, as cannabis users and cannabis smokers, is just try to be as reasonable as we can, and understanding that not everybody's going to accept it and like it, but everybody should accept and give everybody the respect as adults to say, yo, if you're over the age of 21, then you can do what you want. Like, you can have your fun on the weekend and after work however you want, and that's okay. The same exact way that alcohol became illegal and then it was legalized, I can almost guarantee you that if we could go back in time to when alcohol was turned from a banned substance into a legal recreational substance, that there was massive amounts of people against it. But it just took a little bit of time to understand that as adults, if you took a little bit of alcohol and were responsible with it, it was just a really easy, fun way to relax. And that's all cannabis is. And I think that us as the younger generation have to do our best to teach the older generation that, hey, look, we're not drug addicts. We're not here trying to waste our life away. Like, this is just something we do for fun after work on the weekend, and it doesn't take over your entire life. It doesn't have to. And what somebody else does in the privacy of their own home should never, ever, ever, ever affect you. And if it does, figure out why. Because me smoking here in my house should never make you lose your job or should never make you hate yourself. Like, it's just what I'm doing for myself and you're doing for yourself. And we should all be just, I don't know, I feel like there's too much fighting and there's too much, there's, especially from us, this is the plant, this plant is all about love. It's all about bringing people together. And yes, sometimes you do have to be forceful, but to be forceful in your opinion doesn't mean to be violent with it. And yeah, so I'm going to continue to dive into this later as we go on, and as this channel grows, I'm going to get into conversations that are uncomfortable and maybe aren't like the most socially acceptable within cannabis circles. But I feel like if we're going to progress as an industry, if we're going to progress as a people, then we just have to go through this tough stuff that like nobody likes to deal with. And that's pretty much it. I'm just a dude trying to make it. So yeah, and that was my little rant. This has been Recreational 420. Leave your comments down in the comment section and let's see what happens. I'll be back in a couple days and we'll see what happens.